What? Hey, I remember you. Yeah,
I
that's that
know.
guy. That's my co-host. There you are. Man, it's
It's
good to
good to
have you
be.
back.
It's very, very good to be back. Like I said, there's a lot of shit going on, a lot of stuff I had behind the scenes. But like I said, in the center touch, I was itching to get back. I just had to clear a lot of shit up, and now I did. And now I'm deep dive back in. I cannot wait to continue, brother.
Yeah, no, it was an interesting, I kind of talked about it last week, but initially I was wondering if maybe we just kind of let it die and say we're going on a little bit of a break. Everybody kind of did it. I was listening to like 3 or 4 podcasts that went on vacation the week after the Super Bowl, so it wouldn't have been that crazy. But then I was also, you know, I got the opportunity to kind of put myself out there by myself again, and it didn't go well the first time. The Center of Attention podcast fizzled out, so I was kind of interested to see how that was all going to go. So it kind of came
Uh,
about in a weird way because you needed some space, but then I kind of got to push my limits with the solo show, and
and
it
you,
was
and you
interesting.
and you kicked ass with the fucking interview with the draft prospect. I can't think of his name on top of
Will
my head.
Lytle.
Will Idol from Western State. You fucking were
Mhm.
killing it. I'm glad I can contribute back to what we've built and more importantly what you've kept afloat. So
Yeah,
I cannot be more excited.
built is something to talk about. Yeah, it's crazy. It grows every single day on social media. We get more interactions with people, which is great. More comments on our YouTube channel. So be sure, as you're listening to episode 78 of the Far Out of the Bench podcast with Jimmy Pilato, Niko Bryant, follow at FEOTB Pod. Remember, if you're in our bracket challenge, which is close to wrapping up,
I'm
we only
still
got.
alive.
You are
I
still
can
alive.
win.
You
I
are
can
still
win
alive.
still.
I
If
was
Kansas
dead.
wins it all, I can win.
I was dead last Thursday. It was absolute garbage what happened to me last Thursday. I can't.
And I'm in sixth place. The 5 people in front of me, 4 of them have Duke, and
Yeah.
2 of them have Kentucky. If Kansas wins it all, whoo,
Yeah.
baby,
I'm just hoping for
whoo.
Villanova. I want a flashback to 2016 because that was a good
Oh,
year. We graduated high school. I
yeah.
remember watching the Villanova championship in Mr. Weiss's class. I'm sorry if I'm outing you, Mr. Weiss, but during March Madness, we did not do classwork. We were watching the games. So I'm hoping for Villanova, but my brother actually was in first place up until this past round. He got half of his Final Four. I have one. If Villanova makes the championship, I actually know this is Villanova being in the Final Four was my last correct pick of the entire tournament.
Yeah, I got 2 of my 4. I should have known Gonzaga was gonna fucking lose. I don't know why I thought put my eggs in that basket. And then Kentucky losing to the greatest Cinderella story of the past fucking 15 years. You kidding me? Oh, like I said, you can't be that mad about it.
No, and as I were mentioning at FEOTB Pod, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Every single Wednesday, we drop new episodes. Be sure to leave reviews, which, speaking of reviews, I mentioned it last week. I was super excited when we got this one because I don't know if I sent it to you when we got it, but we do have a new 5-star review from Iowa 2011 is the user. I found you on Twitter, and I'm certainly glad I did. Very enjoyable show to tune into. I highly recommend for newbies. Thank you. And it says at Wilson27. I do know that he's also in our bracket challenge. So be like at Wilson27. Follow us on social media and follow us wherever you're listening to on your podcasting platform.
And if it says you're from Iowa, I'm sorry, your basketball team is trash. And I'm sorry, Jordan Bohannon cannot play an 8th year at Iowa this next year, and Keegan Murray couldn't come through for you.
It was a bad year for Iowa. You have the football season where you were number 2 and lose to Purdue, and then you have this early exit. It wasn't great. But no, you mentioned we had a lot to catch up with. We were kind of talking what we were going on just kind of personally. I'm picking up a new coaching job now at Rock Canyon. I'm trying to get my teaching license. So I'm making that kind of transition. Currently, you're getting a lot of tournaments set up for your job. It was kind of insane. I was like, oh shit, I got to go to a solo show. Am I going to have anything to talk about? Because the NFL, the Super Bowl just happened. Tom Brady retired. Things are going to slow down, right? And right from the jump, I didn't get a single day where it wasn't NFL leading the news. And I was just flooded with, I was flooded with too much information for one person to talk about. So we have all of this to catch up on.
It was very, very hard. I had a lot of work to get on, and it was very hard to not keep rechecking Twitter, rechecking Adam Schefter tweets, and not Woj tweets, but Schefter, Rappaport, all those tweets was seeing something happening because my God, it was boom, 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 boom. The NFL stops, and the NBA and NHL were supposed to be, oh, it's our turn. Nope, not yet, buddy.
The NFL said, "See you, nerds. Bye."
We're still the kings here, so don't you worry. We'll just have we are going to do what you do, NBA, every single offseason and just crank it up to 100 degrees.
Yeah, everything is on the table. Everybody's getting guaranteed money. And I have the timeline laid out here. I have the major things that happened. First thing, I think what kind of kicked off the catalyst, it was Aaron Rodgers making the decision after he shoved a whole bunch of goat butter up his asshole that he admitted to on the internet on the Pat McAfee show. I know you enjoy. I'm not an avid listener of the Pat McAfee show.
Listen to Pat McAfee show.
I didn't. That was one of the weirder internet segments that I've ever witnessed.
It's always weird whenever Aaron's on. That's why they have a book club together. Yeah. Pat McAfee hasn't read a book in probably 15 years. The last time he had to read a book was when he had to for like 6th grade reading, I'm pretty sure. So I love the Pat McAfee show, but my God, this news, when it hit, look, I've been saying it for almost feels like 12 months now, almost a full year, about how Aaron Rodgers needs to be a Bronco. The Broncos will be Super Bowl favorites. Like this whole world will be upside down, and then this shit happens, and I'm sitting there watching because I'm listening to the Altitude Sports radio show on my drive to work because when this news broke, and they break the news. Aaron Rodgers signs $200 million deal. At that point, I'm like, oh, well, Mitchell Trubisky doesn't sound like that.
That's exactly the person that I said, too, that week on the podcast.
Trubisky doesn't feel like that bad of an option.
He was with Brian Dable for a year. He had football rehab, right?
Yeah, Trubisky, he kind of got fucked by Nagy. Maybe Trubisky would be a good option. And then the world just fucking went crazy. And my world, from Trubisky, I'm not going to say a better option, but the next best option you could have got if you didn't get Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, we didn't even mention you were off the show when the Broncos decided Nathaniel Hackett to be their new head coach.
No, I think I might have been around for that, but because
yeah.
Either way, I love Hackett. I fucking love Hackett. He was my first option.
The thing that makes the Russell Wilson signing better is the fact that Nathaniel Hackett is the head coach. Because the reason – also, by the way, did we make sure that Pete Carroll wasn't the one who lit Empower Field on fire? Because, like a scornful ex. It was like he was trying to write a country song. I'm going to aim my headlights into your new stadium and burn down a section of seats. But the reason that, Seattle started to go bad on Russell Wilson is – the team that comes with it. Russell Wilson wants to be really involved in the play calling. He wants to be Peyton Manning, where he can call plays at the line of scrimmage and do whatever he wants.
Let's put things in perspective. Seattle fucking chose Pete Carroll over Russell Wilson. Let's keep it a buck. They did, because if Russell Wilson was that unhappy, by far the best quarterback your franchise has ever had, and arguably the best player your franchise has ever had, right up there, easily top 5, if not the best. And you just look, you all the things of them saying, be like, oh, he wanted out, he wanted this. Why would you even try to do that? And the other thing on top of that, we'll get to the Drew Lock situation here in a minute, but why would you even give Drew Lock an opportunity to choose number 3? Like he had an option. Everything I heard, he had an option. That's not an option. That's like fucking saying John Elway walks out the door and fucking Jake Plummer. We just signed Jake Plummer. Let him wear number 7. No, it is the best quarterback. The sole reason, not one of the sole reasons, but one of the sole reasons your team has the Lombardi Trophy is because of that man. That did nothing wrong but show up to work every day behind a fucking horrific offensive line every year and barely any weapons until the end of his Seattle tenure.
So the past 2 years, he'd always had a winning record. He was in the playoffs. He was in the playoffs 2 years ago.
He's played 11 years in the league. and he has a winning record in 10 of the 11 seasons. 9 of those 10 were 10-plus wins. Last year was the first losing season Russell Wilson has ever had, and he didn't play 5 games because of his jacked up thumb. This is this man is Seattle. This man is everything about Seattle. And look, at least they did him right by putting him in a place where he wanted to go. Because what I was hearing all along was that Washington had a far better deal. That Washington was the favorites, but Russell did not want to fucking go there.
Yeah.
That Washington,
he had the no move clause in his contract, right?
He had the no trade clause, and when which is honestly, it's kind of, no, we haven't talked about this, crazy that none of this was even talked about, that not even an inkling of suspicion that anything this was happening, considering this goes back to the combine. And when the combine started, that's when these conversations started. And kudos to the Broncos and the Seahawks for keeping it under wraps. But man, look, I couldn't be happier. I said, Mr. Unlimited is my quarterback. I said, I have been saying for, I don't know, it's been 6 years of just a quarterback carousel of, well, maybe this guy's good enough. No, Russell Wilson is good enough. No other I'm not. I can totally be fact checked on this. If you think if I'm wrong, please comment below, tweet at us, whatever. But no other franchise in NFL history in a 25-year span has had 3 Hall of Fame quarterbacks. The only teams I think are close, maybe the Packers with Rodgers and Favre, which I don't know who was before Favre though. And then
it would have just been those 2.
I know, because I don't know when, whatever. And then the other one that comes to mind is Steve Young and Joe Montana, but I don't remember who was after or who was before that. So that's the only teams that come to mind. But either way, you talk about a guy that has done nothing but win in his career. You give him a revamped offensive line that already looks better than last year. You bring a right tackle back and Billy Turner who was the anchor on that Packers O-line when they didn't have Bakhtiari, who lost Lindsey.
A guy that was sought after by your head coach. Nathaniel Hackett came here and he was talking. I was listening to 104.3 and Mark Schlereth had an hour and a half long sit down with him. And he said Nathaniel Hackett brought up Billy Turner as one of the offensive linemen. Billy Turner's not necessarily going to be a David Bakhtiari, where's the best left tackle in the league, but Billy Turner can play right tackle one week. He can play center the following, left guard, whatever. He can play well at every single position on the offensive line, which is something that unless you understand and have played the position, you don't really understand how difficult it is and how necessary it is in the NFL when guys are going down left and right.
It's an absolute Swiss Army knife. It's like everything. Like think about this team. Everything that fucking Fangio put in this team just fucking horrific. Look. I was never a fan of Stuart Cravens. I'm not gonna sit here like I loved him when he played here. But all the shit of how when he got cut, Fangio didn't even give him a meeting. They kept the door closed. All this shit coming out. The Fangio should have been fucking gone last year. And it is wild to me that it took this long. But the fact that was it 15 months ago? When we started this podcast, we had the Broncos had Vic Fangio, John Elway is a general manager. Yes, that's John Elway's name is still is famous in this town, but not for a general manager. You had no owner, and you had fucking Drew Lock fighting with Joe Flacco to start the season when we started the show.
Joe Flacco got re-signed in New York, by the way.
The Jets are a fucking travesty, anyways. But now the Broncos have a coach, Nathaniel Hackett, who is one of the great young minds who led the fucking Jaguars to the fucking, who was a part of the Jaguars being in the AFC Championship, has been with Aaron Rodgers for so long, and you give him a Hall of Fame quarterback in Russell Wilson, and you're about to fucking get an owner before the season starts. Like, and there's rumors there may be a new stadium built if a new owner walks in the building. Like, I even heard that report today. The Broncos' fucking trajectory, what they were worth last year, this time compared to what they're worth now, like poor people. I feel bad for the poor people that are trying to buy his team, because you got to find more bodies and more people to fucking buy a stake, because this team's price jacked up so much in the last 12 months.
Yeah, it was crazy too, because in the free agent period after, and we'll get to that, they didn't. The give up for Russell Wilson in the trade was Drew Lock, Noah Fant, Shelby Harris.
No
first
offense hurts.
Yeah, a first, second round pick in 2022, fifth round pick in 2022, and a first round pick in 2023. You effectively replace Shelby Harris. You were kind of replacing upgrade Shelby Harris and Drew Lock. Noah Fant, I agree. They don't have anybody right now that can kind of.
Alberto may be that. Alberto may be that, but we don't.
And
know.
honestly, Alberto might be the better situation because I think in Nathaniel Hackett's offense, the tight end is going to have to actually block, and we all know Noah Fant can't block. He's just a fat receiver. That's all Noah Fant.
And that's the reasoning for the Andrew Beck re-signing as well as the Eric Tomlinson signing from Baltimore. With the guy who has fucking 10 receptions his whole career, has played tight end for 8 years in the NFL and just blocks. He's 280 pounds and just an extra tackle. So there's a whole reasoning to this whole process, which is absolutely perfect. Beautiful to see. Like I said, Drew Lock kick rocks. Like, look, I'll be first to say I hope he does well in Seattle. I hope
he did not get a fair opportunity.
He did not get a fair shot. He absolutely
did also not help himself at all at any stage of his time here.
Absolutely not. He did not help himself out, but he did not get a fair shot with this coaching staff and with a different offense coordinator every single year throughout his whole career here. So I hope Seattle gives him a shot. Because look, if he's good for him. I will do nothing but be happy for him. Not praise him, but be happy for him. But Russell Wilson is a fucking different story when we're talking about fucking quarterbacks. So I can care less about that. Noah Fant, that hurts. Whatever. We have other weapons to worry about. It's not like Russell Wilson has a shortage of weapons on the offense. Okay. And then Shelby Harris, you almost replaced right away with DJ Jones with the best fucking barbecue sauce on the west side of the Mississippi over there with DJ Jones, and he's going to be perfect fit and right in the middle. And then look, first round picks don't mean shit when you're a fucking good team. And Russell Wilson is better than anyone we would have got at 9. Anyone. No one we would have picked at number 9 would have been better than what Russell Wilson is going to do for us next year. Not even close. And you're hoping.
It's not even the play on the field even.
It's not. It's everything on top of it.
That first interview that he did with KOA, you could tell right away. It's the same thing that happened when Peyton got here back in 2012 and that season. I wish I was able to talk about. I was listening to it being talked about on the radio station. When he walks in there, he demands a level of excellence from you. So now you're not going to get the Paxton Lynches who come in 3 hours or 3 minutes before the meeting starts. They leave way early and don't actually study their playbook. Everybody's going to be taking a step forward in being a professional athlete sense. And if you don't, you're going to be left behind. And it's not going to be this muddle of, are these guys talented enough? We're not going to, I think that's going to be the thing that Broncos fans notice the most with Russell Wilson now is you're able to decide who is actually going to help the team and who is not, because you're seeing who's buying into the process. And all this is it might get annoying at a point.
It's corny as fuck. Don't get me wrong. This guy's corny as fuck.
You're banking on it being super successful before it gets really fucking annoying.
Absolutely, this guy is corny as fuck. Don't get me wrong, Mr. Unlimited shit. It's very hard to watch.
That's the single-hardest video I've ever had to cover.
It's so hard. It is so hard to watch it. But my God, the guy can play football, and my God, he's the perfect person for this community. And whether it be the fucking Children's Hospital the day before the trade gets officially announced, whether it be fucking his family and talking with the receivers the day before or the day after the trade is announced, getting them on a group chat, getting them ready for workouts, that's shit. That's just it's different. When Peyton walked in the building, like I said, DeMarcus Ware, Aqib Talib, Emmanuel Sanders, I can fucking go on, TJ Ward, the list goes on and on with all the people that walked in the door after Peyton walked in the door. And Russell Wilson, the exact same thing. It may take a year, it may take 2 years, whatever it may be, for all those people to accumulate like the Broncos did with Peyton originally. But people walk in the door because of the guy that is touching the ball every single snap on offense. There's 2 guys that touch the ball every single snap on offense. And right now, the Broncos have one of them. And the other guy, if the quarterback behind him is doing good, then it usually ends up well. because as much as Kush didn't do as great as we wanted last year, Russell Wilson fucking changes everything. Because he fucking talks to the team, and he knows the scheme better than anyone else. It's a match made in heaven. You're hoping the first and second round picks, if we would have re-signed Vaughn, it really would have been fucking hilarious even more. That
bag you would have had to give up was too much.
That George Payton just fucking fleeced everybody and only gave up a first round pick and merely 2 firsts and fucking 3 players that are useless at this team right now. Like, it's hilarious what has been done the last 12 months. It really is. It's funny, like, I've been to a lot of the Nuggets games. I go to most home games, luckily. I'm very lucky to go to most Nuggets home games. I saw a Russell Wilson Broncos jersey a week after the trade happened. It's different. It's different. Yes, the Nuggets and Avs have been carrying the city for 3-4 years. Absolutely. And I joke around that it's a basketball town, that it's a hockey town, whatever. But when the Broncos are good, it's a different feeling. It really is a different feeling.
I need to mention you should follow our Twitter now because I downloaded a meme generator, so I'm going to be working on that a little bit more, and I'm releasing those at FEOTV Pod. I made the one this morning where the Avalanche and Nuggets are the little girl that's getting helped into the pool. The Broncos are there because Russell Wilson saved them.
Finally, just got it, yeah.
Yeah, so it was great. I mean, having a competent GM, we've seen what it did for the Nuggets and the Avalanche, and now we're seeing it pay off for the Broncos, and it's great because, moving forward from that, we'll get to it, I think, a little bit later on in the podcast, but we can grade out who we think had the best offseason. But the next biggest trade that happened after that.
I do want to add one more thing to this. Look, I got to go back on everything I said because I wanted Aaron Rodgers so bad. Aaron Rodgers would have made this team a Super Bowl favorite, and Russell Wilson does not make this team a Super Bowl favorite, but it makes a Super Bowl contender. And right now, Broncos country, that's all we could fucking hope for, and I could not be happier.
It was good. I mean, it's best case scenario for what happened. Nobody else got Aaron Rodgers, and you have a very big upgrade.
Yeah, no one thought Russ would fucking be available. like I remember the rumors with the Bears last offseason. That's about it. And then those died off, and Russ was like, literally, it was a bidding war between us and the fucking Commanders and that trash ass name. And if you're Russell Wilson, would you rather go play with that fucking team or an organization that has had 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks in 25-year span? Absolutely, night and day.
Yeah, and speaking of the Commanders, their backup plan, not getting Russell Wilson, happened to be a little redheaded quarterback by the name of Carson Wentz, who they got. It was Carson Wentz and a 2nd-round pick from Indianapolis sent to Washington for a 2nd and 3rd-round pick this year and a 3rd-round pick next year. It could be a 2nd-round pick if Carson Wentz plays 70% or more of the snaps in the season. Oh, man. Honestly, this is true. Like if you're a Commanders fan, I feel bad for you. I think you have a coach that wants you to win. I think you have players that want to win.
You have a fan base that wants to win.
But the owner just wants to make sure that his name is kept out of the media. So you weren't able to get an upgraded quarterback. You then go out and get what I think is a lateral move for a lot more money.
Absolutely.
Because Taylor Heineke, who's better, Taylor Heineke or Carson Wentz? I think Carson Wentz is probably a little bit more pro, like has talent to be better, but Carson Wentz is broken. Carson Wentz has been broken. And it's not getting fixed. Frank Reich was the only guy that we thought could put it back together again, and it was awful. He was the reason that the defense let him down at the end of the season, but he was the reason the Colts did not make the playoffs last year. And
if this team was fucking hoping that Russell Wilson was option 1A, 1B, 1C, and they fucking ended up with Carson Wentz, talk about the biggest downgrade you could ever ask for.
I would take Andy Dalton at this point over Carson Wentz.
I think the Colts, when they saw that fucking that Washington was going to give them a 2nd and 3rd, they're like, wait, what? You're going to give us a 2nd and a 3rd only? Yeah. We're not. Hey, don't get too excited. We're fucking taking this shit right now. But let's act like we want more.
Yeah.
Look,
throw on a 2nd-round pick for fun.
There was a good 3 weeks. We'll talk about the Matt Ryan stuff later. There was a good 2-3 weeks the Colts didn't have a quarterback. The Colts legit were sitting there with Sam fucking Ellinger as a quarterback, and they said, "Yep, we will take Sam Ellinger right now instead of Carson Wentz." Obviously, they had other things in works. Matt Ryan deal was probably in works, but they were ready. So a guy that almost led them to the playoffs, but if it wasn't for the clown show in Jacksonville and that big shit show, they didn't make the playoffs. Like, look, The Colts, no doubt, have a good team. They're good defense, great offensive line, one of the best running backs in football. Carson Wentz had all of that, had everything he could have asked for. And look, you could say that the wide receiver weapons are better in Washington, which they probably are. Scary Terry is better than anything Indianapolis has right now, but the running game is nowhere near that, and the offensive line is nowhere near that. And
they lost their best offensive lineman in free agency too.
Like this team, I look, it's if they didn't play in such a shit division.
They are, they're still in the conversation. Like Carson Wentz does make you an NFC East contender.
Oh, absolutely. But then again, you look across the division, Carson Wentz is going to have a vendetta playing the Eagles twice a year. So you may win one or two of those games. And then
they're going to put him in a body bag.
Oh, and then you have the Cowgirls over there who just fucking lost everybody, who lost Gregory. Also, fucking great signing. Absolutely great signing. I love that sign by the Broncos. Gregory, whoever decided to fumble that contract said, nope, I'm just going to put shit in because we're better and we're the Cowboys. That ain't going to work anymore. You lose. I'll say it. You lose your best receiver last year. Amari Cooper was your best receiver. CeeDee Lamb has the talent to be the best receiver. But Amari Cooper was the most consistent guy you've had in your receiving core for how long? Zeke isn't getting any younger. Your team got worse. You lose your right tackle, which obviously fucking fantastic signing. You love that so much.
Yes.
But you lose your fucking right tackle. That doesn't help. That division still has Chase Young. It still has the fucking not Harrison Smith, the guy that just fucking signed there for the Eagles that was in Carolina. He was one of the top pass rushers. I can't even remember his name.
Philadelphia still has Fletcher Cox. Like they
Fletcher
do
Cox.
have,
they have a lot of guys. Yeah, a lot of guys. Like there's a lot of dudes in that division. The teams are just solely competent. There's a legit chance. Like I said, we're joking about Carson Wentz being trash. How bad this division is, they may sneak up because, like I said, Heineke got this team to the playoffs. Yeah. Heineke did. All Washington is asking for just consistency. They don't want you doing too much. They want you turning the ball and handing the ball off to Antonio Gibson, and they want you just hitting Terry McLaurin on slant routes.
They have the personnel that Vic Fangio wanted to have while he was in Denver. Yeah. Not an offense that can't do shit except keep you in the game, and your defense is going to win you football games.
Exactly.
There was a lot of the surprising moves I think that we can talk about. Khalil Mack going to Los Angeles for a second round pick. That was a cap casualty. Amari Cooper from Dallas, a cap casualty. And then Dallas turned around and they gave a shitload of money to Michael Gallup, which, I mean, cool as a CSU guy getting a big contract, but he's not going to see – this is going to be another situation where he's cut in 2 seasons. And the Cowboys are going to be doing the same thing where they trade him for nothing. Amari Cooper for a 6th-round pick to Cleveland. How much better does that look now? It's like the guy is out of Houston. The Houston Fondler is gone, and you get a quarterback in Cleveland who I don't think Baker Mayfield was not the problem last season.
No, he was not.
The organization mishandled how his injury was taken care of. He didn't do himself any favors. He continues to not do himself any favors. And the organization, like, how shitty can you treat a person? We don't want you. I'm going after Deshaun Watson. Oh shit, Deshaun said no. So Baker, we always loved you. You knew you were the one.
And look, I'm not going to sit here like I'm the biggest Baker lover in the world, but the guy fucking opened up the Bud Light coolers in Cleveland, getting you for your first win in fucking a year, a home win in a year, and then he fucking gets you to the playoffs last year where you upset the team that has dominated your division for a fucking last 10 years, that has kicked your ass year in and year out every single year. And you beat them at home or in Pittsburgh in the playoffs. And you say, yep, fuck you. And look, I'm not going to act here like Baker is the fucking godsend of this team. Like he is the guy. He's going to be Joe Burrow 2.0, whatever.
Sean's an upgrade.
But Deshaun is absolute upgrade. But fucking Baker deserves the credit for fucking walking out there and getting his ass kicked with fucking torn labrum, a torn fucking meniscus, everything fucking wrong with him, basically on pins and needles. And oh, by the way, you're not going to be able to trade him. There isn't any teams left that need a quarterback. The only teams that are in the picture right now for a quarterback that don't have one are Carolina, which they have a quarterback carousel of their own on their hands with Darnold, Newton. You go around and around, and the Seattle Seahawks, who seem to be content with Drew Lock. So the poor guy, who knows how long Deshaun Watson is suspended, and the poor guy's going to have to go out there and play. If I were Baker, that is the biggest slap in the face in the world. If I was Baker, look, I know you fucking hate this team. I'd go to fucking Pittsburgh. Go to Pittsburgh. I would go to Pittsburgh, play that team twice a fucking year, and maybe you don't got it in you, but you fucking go put it in those guys. Like Pittsburgh, they're not going to be with Trubisky for a fucking full year. That little saga thing, they either draft a guy this year or something's going to happen. If I'm Baker, I go to Pittsburgh and I go play Cleveland twice a year and just go punk their ass. Because they did you so wrong. Like, don't get me wrong, he was not good with OBJ and Jarvis Landry. And those two guys, obviously, are going to do better elsewhere. OBJ did do better elsewhere. But man, the guy a year ago got you to the playoffs, to the second round of the playoffs. Like have a little bit of respect. Look, Deshaun Watson is a top 5 quarterback when nothing's wrong with him. When fucking none of the shit comes.
Hey, he's very hands-on in the community. Okay. That was a bad speechwriter. That was a bad wrong choice. Shit, wrong word.
Whoever is the PR guy for him just fucking face palms so hard when he said that.
Oh, did I write that? I thought I took that out.
I was like, did he really just? There was legit probably a huge gasp when he said that. They were like, did he really just fucking say that?
It's like Anchorman, like, who put a question mark on the teleprompter?
And look, maybe Deshaun Watson is his major upgrade. But you're paying a guy the most guaranteed money in fucking non-baseball sports history. Non-baseball. Baseball's fucking an outlier because there's no fucking salary cap. But with $280 million is $60 million more guaranteed money than anyone has ever even touched in football.
They bent themselves over for this guy because they also made his base salary $1 million, so he's going to get taxed. He's going to get his game checks, his suspension money taken out of $1 million while he's getting $16 million in his other guaranteed money.
And let's not get twisted. He didn't want to play for you. He didn't. He was on a one-way train to Atlanta.
It's all about this money. Yeah.
He was on a one-way train to Atlanta, pairing with Calvin Ridley's fucking betting spree, and I haven't even talked about that. And then also apparently Jarvis Landry was going to Atlanta, and Leonard Fournette was going to sign there when he went there, and said, "You get a guy who doesn't want to play for you. Who knows how much time he's going to play, and what he's going to do in your team. The guy doesn't want to fucking play in Cleveland. You saw what happened in your division. You saw what the Bengals did. You saw that the Ravens still have an MVP winner of the last couple of years, Lamar Jackson, coming back healthy. And you said, well, how do we not make ourselves irrelevant, back to irrelevancy like we did fucking 5 years ago? Let's trade for a fucking sexual predator. Yeah, that's big brain right there, buddy. Big brain.
They're like, wait, what did the Steelers do? They had a quarterback who liked to grow people, right? Yeah.
God.
The AFC North is like, it has a bad reputation. We all wear orange. We all wear orange for a reason. It's orange and yellow.
Orange,
stripes.
black, yellow, black. Yeah, it's all prison colors.
Ray Lewis killed a guy. Yep, that's something. The other big trades after that, Devontae Adams going to Las Vegas for a first and second round pick. Apparently he wasn't as close to Aaron Rodgers as Aaron Rodgers thought he was with Devontae Adams.
Well, let me pull a line from my favorite fucking Twitter video. One of my favorite Twitter videos from fucking Side Talk in New York City when the Knicks beat the fucking Celtics on opening night. Do you regret not coming to the Broncos, Aaron? Do you not regret coming to the Broncos? And obviously, if you don't know where that's coming from, it's a guy that's saying, KD, why don't you regret not coming to the Knicks? This fucker has Alan Lazard as his number one option.
Yeah, because they also got rid of Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
this, I kid you not.
You're gonna have to entice Randall Cobb again. Like, come here, come on.
God, this thing, unless they make a trade for DK or fucking Lockett or I don't know, sign Landry. Landry is a great player, don't get me wrong, but he is not the sole proprietor receiver on your fucking offense. And the Packers, it's just hilarious. It's hilarious. It really is. It makes me think that Aaron just said that Aaron Rodgers thinks that he doesn't give a fuck about football. He was given it back, and he apparently was made aware that Devontae Adams was seeking a trade. And like
I thought that he was coming back to Green Bay to try and dissuade him of a trade. Apparently, it had no bearing on anything that
Devontae Adams picked fucking Derek Carr over you. That's all you need to know.
They did go to college together.
Yes, don't get me wrong, but for fuck's sake, he says I don't care about the MVP. He said I don't care about the 2-time MVP. I'm gonna go play for a guy who is the 4th best quarterback in his division, and that's facts. That's facts. And let's touch this AFC West. The Raiders are going to be the fucking Raiders. You can buy all these fucking people, and it's still going to be the same fucking product every year. You'll be on the verge of the playoffs, and something bad's going to happen.
Taylor Jones was not as good of a pickup as you Raiders fans like to tell yourselves it is. The Max Crosby signing is 10 times more lucrative than whatever you're going to pay Chandler Jones.
Absolutely. Max Crosby is the centerpiece of that team.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong. And Devontae Adams, good for him. They have good weapons. Don't get me wrong. Darren Waller is still a top 2 tight end in this league, and Devontae Adams just made his life so much easier having Darren Waller on his team and Hunter Renfrow on his team. Don't get me wrong.
Josh Jacobs too. Like that Raider team was good. A play away from advancing to the divisional round of the playoffs.
It's good, but then you got to remember who the fuck's running the show over there.
Yeah,
Josh McDaniels.
That is the fucking
guy. Yeah. Y'all forgot about this little twat that has been sucking.
You mean the guy that drafted Tim Tebow in the first round?
The guy that's been sucking fucking Tom Brady's tit, and the only reason why he has a fucking job in this league is because of the fucking greatest quarterback of all time. The only reason why he has a job in this league, look, if you think that, I'll say it. Josh McDaniels is the 4th best quarterback in this division, or 4th best coach in this division. Also, I would pick Hackett over him right now, and I'm definitely putting Andy Reid over him right now. And Brandon Staley, he had some fucking dumbass mistakes last year. The Chargers were 1 win away from the playoffs, or 1 tie away from the playoffs.
Andy Reid is not above being called a dumbass because the last 2 playoff games Andy Reid lost. They lost because Andy Reid had too big of a head, like too big of an ego. Like I'm going to win by passing instead of taking the run. So Andy Reid is not above being called a dumbass.
And there's a team that probably got as better as the Broncos this offseason. I'll say it. I hate that team with all my passion, but it's the Raiders. It absolutely is. But then you get to this fucking team that still can't fill out half their stadium with their own fans. That team that when majority of their home games, the opposing team owns that stadium. Whether it be the Broncos orange flooding the San Diego building, whether it be the Raiders black and silver flooding the stadium, the SoFi Stadium that you don't even own as your own stadium.
Colorado Rockies of the NFL, yeah.
And the Chargers, look, you have a generational quarterback. You do. Don't get me wrong, you do. But at some point, this team that's going to be the Chargers. It always happens. It always happens. There's a reason why Philip Rivers always is Philip Rivers. He could have a fucking MVP type season, be in the conversation for one of the best quarterbacks in the league, but the same thing fucking happens every single year. You can get to the AFC Championship, but that's as far as you're going to go, pal. And look, Justin Herbert is a generational talent. And I'm not saying Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack scare me. Don't scare me because they do. They do. But Khalil Mack is a system guy who hasn't done shit in Chicago. Let's keep that a buck. He was good for 1 year when they made the playoffs, but he has been injury prone and hasn't had a season performance since that playoff season, the Bears, where they double doinked off the Bosa. And Joey Bosa is lucky to play 10 games a year. Lucky. Whether it be his back, whether it be his hand, he needs that. And look, J.C. Jackson, that's a great signing. That's the one that they knocked it out of the ballpark because you have to have somebody.
You have to have a number one.
You have to have somebody, and they did not have a number one corner. So the Chargers are going to be the Chargers. They have a good offense. Don't get me wrong. Mike Williams still hasn't been signed. Maybe he has.
He did. Yeah, 3 years, $60 million. They gave Mike Williams.
That was one of those deals that kind of just flew under the radar because everything else.
It was right. It was right at the beginning. They're like, "Yep, we got him." And it honestly, with the other moves that they made, it ended up being like graded out. I saw on ESPN as like a C- deal. It's a lot of money to be paying for your second receiver.
And this is just crazy. The Broncos signed Tim Patrick and Cortland Sutton for all of this fiasco. And right now, Broncos have your number one, two of your top 3 receivers right now are on a total combined are earning $20 million. per year.
Yeah.
That's fucking incredible. And look, the Bengals are gonna have to open the fucking book eventually. You just gotta ride the wave until you have to pay off 3 of your receivers. And
I think we're paying Uno and we're paying number 9, and I think those are the two.
And there may be a point where there's going to be a lot of pieces moving around and be gone, getting it back somewhere, and that's just something you got to hope is later down the road you win until then. But man, I don't. They don't scare me. They don't. No. They really don't. Those two teams don't scare me. The other team, I guess we can. That's a good segue as we're talking about the AFC West. The other team got worse. The other team,
much worse.
So much worse. The other team that started off 2-4. People forget 2-4. Got lost a weapon. And no pun intended, a fucking weapon, and Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill, as much of off the field shit he has going on, and maybe he won't be as good in Miami. That's a fucking guy that just opened your offense up.
Little Stoner has so much speed on his side of the ball right now.
And don't get me wrong, Tyreek Hill is not the fucking guy to go up and win a 50-50 ball. But you get that motherfucker in space, everything opens up. Travis Kelce is not double teamed because of Tyreek Hill. You're telling me that fucking you go from Tyreek Hill to Juju Smith-Schuster and I'm supposed to be scared? I'm putting fucking Pat Surtain on an island with Juju and just letting fucking double team and Kelce over the middle, and I will be just fine.
Hear me out. It's Juju and Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Does that scare you?
That doesn't scare me. Scaring me is Chris Olave fucking dropping the 29th. That scares me. Chris Olave is one of the fucking speedsters the Ohio State guy that I feel like if he's in the right position, could be good. He's not going to be Tyreek Hill. He's not, but it could be a dude. He could be a dude.
Well, the idea is that Patrick Mahomes, if he is the stud quarterback that we all think he is, he's going to take Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Juju Smith-Schuster, and those two are going to be in the top 5 wide receivers this year.
And your defense also. Their defense got worse too.
You went from Tyrann Mathieu to Justin Reed.
Tyrann Mathieu, as much as I fucking hate him, and there's a point where he was about to come here, but I hate him. He's gone. And then you talk about fucking the guy, the corner you lost in San Francisco. I can't think of his name. He was your number. I think it was Chadrick something. I can't. Yeah, remember. I didn't. He went to San Francisco. You look. Danny Sorensen is the biggest fucking meme in the world. But you lose Danny Sorensen also. This defense, you don't have the room to draft a receiver because of how bad your defense is. Your pass rushing unit just became the worst by far in this division. By far. And you can say, look, it is right now. I think it's the Raiders number 1. I think number 2, it's the Chargers. 3 is the Broncos because of the raw talent. And 4, Chris Jones and Frank Clark ain't scaring me anymore. They're not. They don't scare me. Melvin Ingram had a good year last year. You can beat those two dudes. They don't scare me. And right now, the Chiefs, if it weren't for Patrick Mahomes, you'd be the worst team in this division. That's the fact of the matter is. And 3 months ago, right when the Chiefs lost, saying that the Chiefs may have wasted their championship window. And I think it's coming to fruition. I think that's right when I say it, coming to fruition because one of the greatest quarterback receiver tight end duos in NFL history had won 1 Super Bowl, and you only got to 2.
Think about how much they dominated the division for the past 5 years, and they got the 1 Super Bowl out of it. I mean, it was supposed to be set up for a long time. It's not trending in the right direction. I guess we should talk about Atlanta. They get rid of Matt Ryan, which I get why they did it. It was kind of similar to the Russell Wilson situation where you've been with the same person for so long that you kind of just feel like you need to shake it up a little bit. And it makes Indianapolis really good. I think that's going to be great for them because Matt Ryan didn't play great last year in Atlanta, but he is still very good. This is
what you're here from.
Yeah, and it's similar to Phillip Rivers because of the age, but you're not getting the same player. Phillip Rivers was so far beyond washed when he played in Indianapolis. Matt Ryan can still play. Matt Ryan is also the quarterback that everybody else has to thank for learning how to throw out of the shotgun formation. He's the one who developed the footwork. And now you pair him with Frank Reich and that running game. He's not going to have to carry the offense. I think that's good for Matt Ryan. And then Atlanta they sign Marcus Mariota. Atlanta gets their quarterback in Marcus Mariota, and now you give a weapon like that to Arthur Smith, who we saw what he did in Tennessee. I think that's
what he did with Mariota in Tennessee.
Yeah.
What he did with him. And Atlanta, look, they probably are going to be they're in the quarterback market next year. It's not like Mariota is. Maybe he is.
He's got to come out and be like, it's got to be Ball City. Yeah, if he's going to keep his job.
And look, that division also is really bad too. People are forgetting. That division is is number
now
one.
Now that Deshaun Watson's not in there, it's like Jameis Winston's the number one quarterback.
Yeah, no, I mean Tom Brady's still there, so that's that guy. That guy.
You see, Peyton wants his retirement gift.
I would too. That's such bullshit. Fucking, I'm watching college.
I would
basketball.
be going after him if I bought that last ball.
I'm enjoying my first weekend of college basketball. March Madness, and this fucker decides, fuck those kids. I'm gonna come out of retirement. And
the guy made me pick up the kids from school. I needed to come back.
He took one trip to Whole Foods and saw the line and said, "Fuck this! I'm playing football again." and look, don't get me wrong. He's still a goat. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. But like either fucking just retire or just fucking don't. All you said was like, you know what? I'm gonna take a 2-month vacation. You could have just said that. You could have just said, I need a break. Get me away from everybody. Let me go watch some football, European football, and watch Cristiano Ronaldo score a hat trick for Manchester United. Let me have my time off, and then I will come back and play football. Just get me the fuck away from everybody. That's all you had to say. Because we all knew. I remember when he retired, we were like, is this real? It just didn't feel real. Whether it be Schefter reporting it too early and him being on his own show with the Get Up or not the Let's Go podcast and being like, oh, not yet, and then 2 days later saying I'm retired. Like, it was one thing after the other with this guy. Oh man, and look, I don't want to just breeze over this Matt Ryan Colts thing. He will be consistent. He will do all the right things. He's a guy that is a lunch pail guy, very similar to Matthew Stafford. Just shows up, does what he needs to do, and gets this team in position to win. If he has the help, his teams will more than likely win majority of the games, or at least be competitive with at least 8 games to go.
Former NFL MVP, and think about the situation he inherited in Atlanta. Do we want to go back and think about what was going on? You know, the quarterback that he took over for, right? Mike Vick. Oh. And Mike Vick was in prison when he took over that job. He came in and started as a rookie. His first NFL pass was a touchdown. Like, this dude, his nickname was Matty Ice for a reason. I think that he can get back to Matty Ice being in a situation where the roster can now help him. Because that's what all quarterbacks, like, that's what John Elway had in Denver. The roster finally got good enough at the end of his career when he knew how to orchestrate the team. He didn't have the physical talent. Peyton Manning didn't have the physical talent. So this could be, I see that trade similar. I don't think the offense is as flashy. I see it similar to the Matthew Stafford deal.
Yeah, absolutely. They need a weapon. That whether it be in the draft or go get Julio Jones because he's available now. They need to go get somebody because Michael Pittman as your number 1 receiver. He's a decent number 2 and a really good number 3, but he's not a number 1 option on a team.
No, Allen Robinson would have been a nice addition for them. Allen Robinson ends up going to Los Angeles, so I don't think that the Rams they're gonna fall off because they don't have the money to keep everybody, and they did go all in. Like, everybody's getting ready for the draft. They're like, what? The draft is going on? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize. So I don't know if they're going to be as good, but they should be still talented. And they got a good receiver with Allen Robinson to pair.
Allen Robinson is I may even go as far as say an upgrade maybe over Robert Woods. Robert Woods obviously coming off ACL surgery. I think Allen Robinson will produce more than Robert Woods next year because of Robert Woods' injury last season.
If you get Robert Woods back too, then you have Kupp, Robert Woods, and Allen Robinson. You don't even have to sign OBJ.
Robert Woods got traded to Tennessee.
Yep.
Yeah, so also now he's in a great situation with AJ Brown too, another team that's gotten better. And
Julio got cut. That was surprising when I saw that.
So man, this, like I said, I think this Rams team has all pieces. You lose Vaughn. Vaughn got a fucking fat contract that he was never going to get anywhere else.
6 years, 120 million, and I think 56 is guaranteed.
When the Broncos, because I'm almost positive George Payton probably walked up to Vaughn and said, "This is the contract we can give you." And then the Bills walked up and said, "This is the contract we can give you."
Take whatever anybody else offers you and fucking triple it.
And Vaughn said, well, "You're tripling my money than anyone else can give me. Okay, I'll sign here. I'll go play for a contender."
Can you have chickens in Buffalo?
Oh man, I'm so. It's the only pass rusher in NFL history to sign 2 $100 million plus deals, which is fucking incredible for him. I'm really happy for him. He gets to get a chance to win it or chase another ring on a very, very good Buffalo team that's gotten a lot better as well. But man, it's just wild everything that's happened. It feels like just one thing after another. It seems like every morning there's something else popping.
Yeah, I mean, everybody seems to also like at least fill the positions that they lose. But then you have teams, I think Minnesota or Green Bay losing Zadarius Smith to Minnesota. It's not going to make Minnesota that much better, but it is going to make Green Bay, like, that's a huge piece of their defense. That makes them worse. And there's a few teams. I think Washington is not doing anything to make themselves better. They're not giving Ron Rivera any new ammunition. They're just trying to, like we said, make sure Dan Snyder is out of the news. So yeah, I'm sure we'll get more into closer to the draft. I don't know if we'll do a mock draft again because it's been so
neither of us care about the draft now.
Yeah, I think I'm good. The Bengals, by the way, signed Alex Kappa, Ted Karras, and Lyle Collins. First 3 signings this offseason were all 3 offensive linemen, so they weren't stupid like I thought they were going to be. And getting Lyle Collins took a little bit cheaper of a deal to come here. I mean, 3 years, $30 million. You're getting paid $10 million a season, but he took a little bit of a discount to play with Joe Burrow. And that was the first person's house we went over to. I think Joe Burrow is going to be like, nobody's touching me. I can throw for 65 touchdowns.
Holy shit, my jersey's clean.
Yeah.
What the fuck is
Jamar's
this?
open? Jamar's always fucking open.
Oh, it's perfect. Obviously, losing Osama hurts. Yeah. The guy's going on the fucking Jets. Look, he's not going to do anything in New York. That's
we picked up Hayden Hurst. I mean, you kind of
Hurst is a very, very good blocking tight end also. So,
we have the 2 biggest fucking tight ends. Hayden Hurst and Drew Sample are 2 massive human beings.
Sample did a pretty good job for you guys too when Uzama was hurt.
Yeah, so the generic created player on our sidelines, Drew Sample.
That shit's so funny. So.
Oh man, we'll transition into basketball and talk a little bit. We've gone through all the way through the Elite 8. We have the Final 4 set, getting ready to crown the 2 teams that are going to be in the national champion. That'll be coming up here on the Far End of the Bench podcast.